Alright, this is kind of a quick note to self in a way. Look, I said to Mr. Nature, yeah, if you know Mr. Nature, I've done a few podcasts with him. He's proper enlightened, he is. Right. I was like, bro, I've got myself into a not good financial situation. It's my fault. For the most part, in a sense. And I take responsibility, whatever. But here are my options, yeah. I can either not eat, or I can eat bottom tier food. If you can tell, I ate the bottom tier food. Can you tell? I don't know. I can fucking tell. Look, he said you're better off just not eating it. You can easily fast for a few days. Supposedly, even though fasting for me feels like I'm dying, but it's probably just the fungus and the parasites and shit, which are manipulating my desires. Because you have beings inside your body that are trying to get fucking food and shit, like parasites, right? That you get into your body by eating like poor, undercooked like beef and things, supposedly, and animal products and dairy. So it's like, and like if you're not on like the self-actualization and the awakening spiritual sort of stuff or whatever, then it might not apply to you. I didn't used to have the consciousness to understand what the food was doing to me because I was asleep. I think it was partly a kind of trauma response of disassociation where you can't even form memories because you're just not there because everything is so fucked around you. So getting born in this culture and then people just give you sugar immediately. I saw, just quickly, this podcast of, do you know Theo Von, the comedian? I think he's quite funny. I like him in some ways, but he's like a Western comedian. He got his nephews on a podcast, and one of his nephews said that he's addicted to caramel. No one cared. No one had nothing to say about it. I know it's not that deep on one level, but in a relative plane, it is kind of deep at the same time, because this is what I went through. A culture of ignorance that I'm quite angry at in some ways, on some levels, is like, how dare you fucking feed me pollution, and you just don't even reflect on your own ignorance to like understand that you're just giving children your bad habits and you're raising unconsciousness. So long story short, the kid on the podcast, one, he said he was addicted to caramel and he just drinks caramel, and the other nephew didn't have nothing to say about it, and Theo Von didn't have nothing to say about it, really. And then later he randomly said, and you need to pay attention, because like if someone's really going through something deep and they're suffering a lot, it's important to like, because basically this kid just said on a whim out of the blue, I got sick last week and I threw up 12 times, and he was stuttering in that, and I perceive his energy to be quite, you can tell that both the nephews are very absorbed in social media and things, and I'm not here to judge from the outside, right? They're not my kids. But he said he threw up 12 times after he got really ill, and then he said to Theo and his brother, do you ever feel like you guys are like weighed down with poo? And Theo just like pulled a stupid face and ignored him. And they just carried on. But I could tell by the kid's face, and what I'm saying is essentially is like, he's been born in an unconscious household, and he's been given technology and iPhones and shit and internet, which has like EMF radiation and whatever. But regardless of that, this kid is on this podcast with this adult, this unconscious adult that is Theo. In some aspects, sure, he's good, but in other aspects, maybe not. But they just brush it off and laugh, and that's what I had when I was a kid. Like, the kid, like, I used to throw up loads when I was younger, and, I got given vaccines and shit when I was a kid, and I was almost forced to get the COVID jab, which is poison. And I'll get removed off YouTube for saying that, but it's already explicitly stated on the government website, so I don't know. Regardless, I will never stop speaking my truth, so take me off YouTube if you want. I don't give a fuck. The COVID vaccine is fucking poison. It might have helped one or two rare... I don't know, look, I don't give a fuck. We don't need... I don't know what my full view is on the whole vaccine situation, but who cares? But look, this kid, man's fucking talking about his health problems. Do you ever? He's like constipated, right? Because his family is going to be feeding him crisps. Judging by his fucking caramel intake, he's probably going to be having chocolate and all sorts of stuff. And when you actually cultivate the awareness of what this stuff does to you, like now, I don't know if you can tell that I'm not my most vibrant, but I was just doing a podcast with Miss Sunshine and Mr. Nature on my Instagram, and halfway through, a little bit after eating this fucking pasta and stuff, man, I'm like, oh my god, I'm fucked. I can feel it all in my throat and in my sinuses, and I keep making the same mistake. Mr. Nature, I told him about this thing with the Theo Von podcast, and he said just lead by example, and that is the truth. I'm voicing my concern for this kid, but I'm still eating the polluted food, right? So I chose to eat this polluted food, and now I'm paying the price. I feel fucked. And it's not nutrition, it's addiction. That's one of the main things that really kind of saddens me, is like the fact that everyone, like, I know that I'm not, obviously, I'm far from perfect, I'm far from a saint, but one thing I do know is like, it's like they're purposely engineering the food to keep you sick or something. They're doing it to save money. They're putting cheap chemicals in your food. It's not fucking real food. Because when you eat it, if you have a fucking clue, you can feel it. But everyone's so fucking fast asleep in this place because we're so brainwashed by the media telling you that this stuff is normal. That's why I hate fucking having the radio on and things when I'm at work or wherever I am. It's because this stuff is all day. These like reality TV shows and things like Friends. People think, oh, Friends is so innocent, or X Factor or whatever. And it is on the absolute level, right? But at the same time, it's like, and I know ultimately everything's love, and it's not that deep, you know, enjoy chocolate, enjoy sweets and candy, but like, I'll never ever send my children out on Halloween. Are you thick? I'm going to send my child, do you understand? We have fucking 4 seasons of Christmas, junk food, Halloween, junk food, birthday, junk food, Easter, chocolate. It's like, where do these come from, bro? I'm telling you, this whole fucking place is a fucking money and energy extraction matrix. We are a grid, we are a farm, and we've been enslaved by a different tribe. And they lie to us through the TV, through censorship. And so what I mean by Friends and X Factor and stuff is they'll be eating this stuff on that TV show, and they'll be talking about how it's so normal, subliminally. Don't eat it. Don't eat the shit. Even if you're hungry. Don't eat the shit. The main thing is to be slow and to love yourself with every breath. And just take it slow and don't stress. Because everything is ultimately the present moment. And just like the Monopoly board, it doesn't matter what you cultivate and what moves you take. Everything goes back in the box at the end. But it saddens me to see these children with unconscious parents getting fed poison and then suffering for it just like I did for fucking years. And when I try to tell people the symptoms of my declining mental health because I'm being fed industrial waste products through my tap water and through my fake food, I've got videos, I've got old live streams from 7 years ago. My parents bringing in fucking deep fried fucking all sorts of cancerous, hazardous food. I know there's different levels of perceiving things, but look, that's one of the main things, man. It's very hard to get away from in this place. Why are they engineering food? Why are they genetically modifying fruit and that? Like, you will never find seeded grapes in a supermarket. Very rarely. It's like we've literally reinvented the grape and everything else. It's fucking insanity what we do with our food. It's so unconscious, and it's one of my, like, I don't know, I'm running out of storage, look, but that's the main message is, I wish I executed on my health earlier. At the same time, it doesn't matter, let go, because everything's fucking meaningless and we're all gonna die